Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello, friend. Your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyer here, alongside good old MF Michael Fletcher. We also have the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson. The Phenom Michael Bullock might be coming in. We'll see. He's running a little bit late this evening, so just excuse me for 1 minute. We have an audio pop up. So, all right. So, oh my goodness, folks. It was a breathtaking night from the opening bell because tonight we had a very historic edition of Monday Night Raw this evening. From the Talking Stick Resort Arena, formerly the America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. A night that started with a moment of silence for the for the victims and families and all that were affected by that heinous tragedy in Florida last week. And then from there, we made history. First time we had a 7-person gauntlet match on this show this evening, and which featured all 7 men that are going to be competing inside the Elimination Chamber. Yes, I said 7 men because we all know what happened at the end of Raw last week with Kurt Angle making that big decision about Seth Rollins and Finn Balor after they both eliminated, or after they both scored a pinfall over Bray Wyatt. So we had a gauntlet match featuring all 7 men. And before we get into that, we have some numbers here, folks. This 7-person gauntlet tonight set records tonight. The match was the longest match in WWE history at just over 2 hours long per PW Insider. In addition, the WWE Stats and Info Twitter account noted that Seth Rollins his work in this match tonight was the longest such effort in Raw history. Seth Rollins lasted 1 hour and 5 minutes. And finally, John Cena, his loss tonight marks only the 15th time in over 10 years that he has lost cleanly in a televised match. First time he's lost cleanly on a Raw since all the way back on October 10th of 2009 when he lost to Triple H. His full list of previous TV losses, you can go on the 411mania.com per the Wrestle Zone. So, man alive. So, nothing more to say. I mean, it started, what a way to start it off with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins came away with the win on that one. Then we had Seth Rollins against John Cena. Seth Rollins won that. It was at 19 minutes and 55 seconds that Rollins beat Reigns. And then, not sure when actually, it was at the 56-minute and 18-second mark, Seth Rollins knocked off John Cena. And then at the 1 hour and 4 minute mark, Elias eliminates Seth Rollins. And then at 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 40 seconds, Finn Balor was next, and Finn Balor would eliminate Elias with the coup de grace, or as Luigi PS3 likes to call it, the coup de grace. And then at the 1 hour, 35-minute, and 40-second mark, The Miz eliminates Finn Balor. And then finally, at 1 hour and 46 minutes, Braun Strowman eliminates The Miz. Braun Strowman wins it all. We can easily give this 5 stars. We easily can. But here tonight, we're not going to grade each individual match. We're going to grade this as a whole. Now, while some of the action towards the end went a little downhill, this was still a solid 4 to 4.25 stars. I could easily give it 5, but this was freaking awesome, including an absolutely tremendous hour with Seth Rollins shining as a complete star. I'm going to channel my inner Kevin Durant here. Say, Seth Rollins, you the real MVP. That's all there is to say about that. You the real MVP. And in just under an hour, Seth Rollins pinned both Roman Reigns and John Cena clean as a whistle, adding fuel to his newfound fire. Very well laid out bout. Everybody got time to shine. The post-match, the post interviews that Renee Young did with each eliminated competitor were very good. They added to the story. They built to the chamber match as well. A refreshing experiment from WWE here, and one that I thoroughly enjoyed so very, very much. No promos, no windbag talking segments, no campy comedy, funky nonsense. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like this again anytime soon, but this was really great. And it was so nice to focus on wrestling matches on a wrestling show. What else is there to say? Do I have to spell it out any further? Seth Rollins was the MVP, but it was Braun Strowman picked up the win in this match, in this gauntlet match tonight. This record-setting, history-making gauntlet match. Longest match in history. Longest match in Raw history. We have every right to give this 5 stars, but the first 2 were definitely 5 stars. But as the action went on, well, kind of went a little downhill. But as a whole, it's 4 to 4.25 stars. But Seth Rollins was 5 stars tonight. Now I know why Derek Ferrera's been so high on him the last few years. I get it now. That's the Kingslayer, man. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Unlike your show, SmackDown Live, unlike when your guys eat pancakes on Tuesday nights, we fight on Monday night, and tonight we fought. Soldier up.
Soldier up my foot, Anthony Florio. This is what we've been begging Monday Night Raw to do for how long now? And you want me to soldier up? It's a good thing it's a PG show because I'll be telling you 2 little words. F you. That's what I think of that. And as far as that goes, yeah, you could say 5 stars because it was great. But need I remind you, isn't there a pay-per-view coming up Sunday night called Elimination Chamber? Elimination Chamber. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to lay out your chamber matches. So this is your final push. Bravo, WWE, for doing something smart for once. But don't give me no cockamamie bull crap thinking that for 1 second that whatever the case may be, that this was your thing. How the hell are you going to fill the remaining hour? And what are you going to do with your remaining hour, Floyer? You threw 2 hours of action, which is great because we need that. That's how we're going to get butts in the seats. Shut up, take my money for a WWE network. Other than that, what will you be doing without that 2 hours of action? Absolutely nothing. So obviously, the waste of 2 hours for that fight alone, you had 1 match for 2 hours. What are you going to do with the remaining hour of your show? So, yes, this was your big fight. This was your big kahuna. This is what you're going to serve us because we needed that. Because you want us to be excited for the Elimination Chamber. You want us to be on your show to watch your pay-per-view on Sunday night. So what type of bullcrap are you spewing right now, Florio, saying about Soldier Up and this and that? You had no other options. There's nobody on the roster right now that's even relevant on Monday Night Raw, other than the 6 women that is going to be fighting in the Elimination Chamber, and then your Elimination Chamber match. So you throw a gauntlet, 7 men in there. 4 to 4.25 stars. You got that right. This was the fight of the night. And again, it served its purpose. Seth Rollins is the Iron Man of the fight. This was reminiscent of when Finn Balor basically tore the house down at the Royal Rumble when he was the Iron Man. You needed that one guy to establish himself as, even though he didn't win it, he was the star of the fight. He was going to be the one that was going to be in the ring the longest for anybody else. And yes, they gave him a big monkey on the back. They strapped the jetpack by knocking off the Golden Boy John Cena and steroid user Roman Reigns. And yes, I'm saying that, Florio. So, as far as anything else goes, then he gets eliminated by Elias. Of all people to let him go down to, why did you let him go down to Elias? If you're going to do it, give him to Finn Balor, man. Balor probably needs it more than anybody else. I questioned the booking towards the end of the fight, and yes, it was clunky, it was everything, but it got logical towards the end because we all know Braun Strowman was going to win that. Come on. But because Strowman won tonight, he ain't winning the Chamber on Sunday night. So, as far as that goes, it was fine. It was good because it served its purpose. That's what it was meant for than anything else. So, I don't know what got into you, Florio, but you better not get that tone on me because I will definitely slap the living daylights out of you and bring you down to size quick. Think about who you're messing with. The Cerebral Viper himself. SmackDown Live's own. So be careful what you wish for, kid. You might just get it tonight.
Come at me, bro. I'm ready.
Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Oh boy. What a way to start this show compared to the way Raw started their show. My goodness. Yeah, I guess my only gripe about it would be the fact that it was 2 hours for one match. But other than that, I mean, the matches went really well. And I like the fact that you had that look of fear on Miz's face the minute he realized who the next person in the gauntlet was. And as soon as the fans started chanting for Strowman, I mean, you could tell Miz was not looking forward to that. But he did put up a pretty good fight against him. So for me, this was about a 4 to 4.25 star match. So good way to start Raw. Definitely the fight of the night. Not much more I'm going to have to say about it. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. So, that was awesome. That's all I can say on that. SmackDown Live, are you ever going to do anything like that? We'll see. So, yes, indeed. So, I don't know how we can move on from that. I wish we could just call it a night right there, but we do have a little bit of some more business to get into. And next up, our latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, as first reported by Girl MF Michael Fletcher. Yes, MF, I'll give you your moment of fame here because you were the one who broke it this afternoon. Jeff Jarrett. That's right. JEFF JARRETT double J. Jeff Jarrett. Ain't he great? Apparently he's great enough because he's going into the WWE Hall of Fame. AWA Rookie of the Year in '86. I mean, his championships and accomplishments reads like a who's who. I mean, in AAA, he was the Mega Champion one time, won the Rey de Reyes in 2004. CWA, he was the AWA Southern Tag Team Champion 4 times, 3 times with Billy Travis and once with Pat Tanaka, CWA Heavyweight Champion, a CWA AWA International Tag Champion twice, one with Pat Tanaka, one with Paul Diamond, 5-time NWA Mid-America Heavyweight Champion, AWA Southern Tag Team Championship Tournament winner in November of 86 with Billy Travis, and then again in July of 87, also with Billy Travis, NWA Cyberspace Heavyweight Champion, Pennsylvania Championship Wrestling United States Champion, PWI Feud of the Year in 92 with Jerry Lawler against the Moondogs, 2007 Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, number 5 in the PWI 500 in 2000, 141 in the PWI years in 03, and ranked number 78 of the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years with Jerry Lawler in 03. River City Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Matter of fact, he's the current RCW Heavyweight Champion. TNA, you know that whole story. Him and his father, Jerry Jarrett, they built it from the ground up. Still exists today, all these years later. 6-time NWA Heavyweight Champion. 1-time King of the Mountain Champion. 3-time winner of the King of the Mountain match, 2004, 2006, 2015. And, of course, went to the TNA Hall of Fame in 2015. USWA Heavyweight Champion. 9-time Southern Heavyweight Champion. 3-time Unified World Heavyweight Champion. 14-time USWA World Tag Champion. With twice with Matt Bourne and Jeff Gaylord. Once with Cody Michaels. 4 times with Jerry Lawler. 3 times with Robert Fuller. 2 times with Brian Christopher. USWA Heavyweight Championship Tournament winner in 91. And with Brian Christopher was the USWA World Tag Team Championship Tournament winner in 93. Vendetta Pro Wrestling is NWA Western States Heavyweight Champ. 4-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. 3-time United States Heavyweight Champion down there. 2-time USWA World Tag Champion with Matt Bourne. WCWA World Light Heavyweight Champion twice. And a 3-time WCWA World Tag Champion with Kerry Von Erich, Mil Mascaris, and Matt Bourne. NWA North American Champion in the WWE, 6-time Intercontinental Champion, 1-time European Champion, a 1-time Tag Champion with Owen Hart, the late great Owen Hart, God rest his soul. Of course, going in the Hall of Fame. WSW Heavyweight Champion, WWA World Heavyweight Champion twice, winner of the 2001 Seven Deadly Sins Tournament, WrestleCade Heavyweight Champion, Wrestling Observer Newsletter Feud of the Year in 92 with Jerry Lawler against the Moondogs, the most overrated wrestler in 05, and then finally Memphis Grizzlies Wrestling Champion. So you name it, he's done it. MF, I'm going to start this with you because you were the one who reported it on your Facebook this afternoon. To the shock of myself, Michael Bullock, and Derek Ferreira. I mean, I'm very curious. Why does this come as a shock to some people that Jeff Jarrett's going in?
Well, because of the fact that he really rubbed the WWE the wrong way, especially towards the end of his career. He cutted a shoot promo back in 1996 or 97. If you remember, there was an infamous shoot promo he cutted on Monday Night Raw, of all places. That was kind of his way of saying goodbye, screw you, WWE. And then he left, if you remember, for WCW, and that's when he became a really big name over there. And then after WCW folded, he decided that him and his father, Jerry Jarrett, as you said, Anthony, created TNA Wrestling, and they had a partnership with the NWA promotion. So at the very beginning, it was NWA TNA, and then after the NWA decided to leave and do their own thing, and then TNA continued, they prospered, and they thrived for a number of years. Now they're treading water now, and it looks like who knows what the future may hold for them. But you gotta be realistic. Jeff Jarrett, without a doubt, is deserving of the Hall of Fame because of his outside influence, what he did for professional wrestling. But what really shocked us and what really took us aback was that Jeff Jarrett is actually back with WWE, with the fact that he is going into the Hall of Fame, and we're wondering now, what does that mean? Is he going to be back in a wrestling capacity? Is he going to be a behind-the-scenes guy? Because remember, he still had the right for Global Force. Well, he had Global Force. I think they folded, so you don't know what's going to happen now with him. But with Jeff Jarrett, I mean, you really don't know what to expect, and I think that's the real thing. We were floored when we heard the name because, to honest to God, that was not one of the names that we expected to go into the Hall of Fame. Just like when we never ever thought the day we would ever see Bruno Sammartino go in, or we were begging for Macho Man to go in. It took forever when we finally got him in, or the Ultimate Warrior. That was another thing that probably we would think, we'll never see it happen, but then it did. I don't think if you talk to any wrestling fan from around the world, I don't think none of us would have even uttered the words Jeff Jarrett and WWE Hall of Fame. Just to know that this is happening is an absolute mind-boggling moment. This had us floored. Like, even I was like, because when I heard that he's going in, I was like, I heard a couple of rumors, but it kind of was like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But when the first reports started coming in that this was actually happening, and I actually got a text from a friend of mine who said, guys, Jeff Jarrett is going into the Hall of Fame. I was stunned. And like you said, you were stunned. I know everybody else was absolutely floored because, like I said, Jeff Jarrett was on a really rocky relationship with WWE. There was a point where they were not getting along for years. So for this to happen, something must have happened late in either Triple H talked to him or Vince got to Jarrett and they got to talking. And for this to happen, that's the real thing. What happened between Jarrett and the WWE for this to happen? Because this is not just a fly-by-night thing. This must have been a conversation for a little while between the two. And now look what just happened. Oh my goodness. Jeff Jarrett is a Hall of Famer. Congratulations. Well deserved. Because, like you said, the body of work is definitely there. Especially what he did in WWE at being one of the most decorated Intercontinental Champions of our time. But more importantly, his reign as WCW World Heavyweight Champion and the success that he had in WCW, I think that's what got him in to the Hall of Fame. Because you can't really, because I know WWE doesn't really recognize a lot of the other organizations, but if you put what he did in WCW and WWE combined, that's Hall of Fame worthiness and enough. And plus, maybe there might be a little something about TNA in there because of the fact with Angle and with some other guys who's come from TNA to WWE that there's enough respect there for him to get in. But that's the only thing I could think of. But just for his WWE and WCW work alone and on those merits, he's worthy enough of getting this ultimate honor. So for me, on the behalf of myself and my show, the Cerebral Smack Talk, Jeff Jarrett, congratulations, my friend. Definitely an honor and a privilege that I was able to be the first to report this today and to announce that you are indeed going into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations, my friend. Nothing more to say. I guess, Anthony, come right on in so you can get Mike Bullock set it up.
Well, he doesn't have to catch up on much because that history-making gauntlet match this evening. Oh, Bullock, this is one of the, I'll be honest with you folks. This was one of the rare nights when Michael Bullock and I did not have a Raw chat, but after what we witnessed tonight, this is one of those times I wish we did because, oh my goodness, Bullock, if we had the Raw chat tonight, could you imagine the barrel of fun we would have had during that gauntlet match that our guy, Braun Strowman, won? in almost 2 hours. Wow. Bullock, it's yours.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean,
No need to recap the results. We already ran it down, but just your thoughts on the match alone.
I mean, all I can say is, I mean, Braun Strowman. I mean, he basically, well, let's just say, I mean, he really did reign supreme tonight with the gauntlet, and I mean, he basically showed why he is definitely the monster among men. I mean, many people are saying that he is the favorite. Well, whether I mean, he is the favorite, but whether he wins it or not, I mean, that remains to be seen. But I mean, all the matches as we saw with the gauntlet, I mean, it was freaking awesome. But Braun Strowman basically reigned supreme here tonight, and he basically made it clear that he wants Brock Lesnar in that Universal title at WrestleMania. But we all know that's not going to happen. We all know it's going to end up being Roman Reigns. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. I mean, the monster among men definitely reigned supreme with the gauntlet tonight, Florio. And if we were doing that Raw chat, you know what we would have done? Roar! Unbelievable. I really got nothing more to say on it.
Yeah, we rated the match as a whole. We didn't do each individual match. We rated it as a whole 4 to 4.25 stars. And,
yeah, that's where I would have gone, 4 to 4.25.
And you have a quick thought about Jeff Jarrett going into the Hall of Fame? Ain't he great? JEFFJARRETT going into the HOF.
I'll be quite honest with you, Florio. I mean, I was surprised when I heard this news. I mean, and Fletcher basically just mentioned it. I mean, the turmoil that Jeff Jarrett had with WWE over the years after he left. I mean, when that happened, I mean, I thought there was no way he was ever going to get into the Hall of Fame, but I'm really happy he got into the Hall of Fame, and yeah, I mean the numbers based. I mean, what he did, I mean, basically speaks for itself, and I mean with what he did as the Intercontinental Champion, and of course what he did in WCW, and of course, yeah. So there's really nothing more to say. I mean, you guys pretty much said everything. So congratulations to Jeff Jarrett. I mean, getting into the Hall of Fame, and I mean, like you said it, Florio, ain't he great? And yes, that's Jeff Jarrett. That's JEFFJARRETT. Jeff Jarrett, Hall of Famer.
Edie Whitson, do you have a quick thought about Jeff Jarrett?
But before you get to that, I can say right now, this Hall of Fame class is looking really good.
What do you think his speech is going to be like when we get to Jeff Jarrett at the Hall of Fame? That's going to be interesting.
And who's going to induct him?
That's a great question. Anybody could. So we'll find out soon enough. All right, Edie Whitson, your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett going into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I saw it on the WWE Network app before Fletch posted it, and I was kind of shocked then because because of the same thing you all said. Jeff Jarrett not having the good relations when he left, and everything he's done, and the bad history he's had over the years with Honky Tonk Man and Lawler. But still here he is. He's going into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to him, and I hope it's all going to be good from here on out. I'm just as curious as you guys as who's going to induct him, and even more curious of who's going to be the next to be inducted over the next couple weeks. So not much more I had to say about it. Move on.
I got an idea of who I think could induct him. Brian James, aka the Road Dog.
Very possible. The roadie.
Yeah.
Maybe they bring back Dixie Carter, because I mean,
ooh, that's another good point there, Flash.
I mean, she did do something with WWE for Kurt Angle. I mean, could they contact Dixie Carter and have her induct Jeff Jarrett into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but doesn't Dixie and Jeff Jarrett not have a very good relationship?
Yeah, true. I mean, that's definitely true. I don't know. Who else?
Well,
there's not many people, unless there's somebody that we're missing that we don't know.
Well, there is a lot of guys that work in WWE and NXT that have worked for Jarrett, so it could be one of them as well.
Jerry Lawler.
Kevin thinks it's going to be Jerry Lawler, so
he started Jeff Jarrett.
Jerry Lawler, definitely.
Yeah, true. Actually, very, very good point, Kevin. Very good point.
Yes, indeed. So let's move on, but I'll give you my brief thought about it. I mean, he was not on our radar. That's all there is to say about that. He was definitely not on the radar to get in, but the induction news is great. I mean, everyone was genuinely shocked by the news. I mean, including me. I mean, but the timing is right, though, and that Jarrett, he's not working for TNA, and he's coming off what looked like maybe a stint in WWE-sponsored rehab, and he's definitely deserving of the recognition for his run with the company and everything he's done outside of it, like MF said. So you think about his wrestling ability, from being the world's greatest singer, entertainer, and wrestler in the WWE as Double J, Jeff Jarrett. And then, of course, with what he did in WCW, The Chosen One. I mean, MF and I, come on, MF, you remember, you and I used to get a kick out of Jeff Jarrett every time he would always say, choke on that slap nut. We always used to have a lot of fun with that, did we not? So, oh boy. So, and then, of course, what he did with TNA. I mean, he built that thing from the ground up with his father, Jerry Jarrett. It hasn't been the greatest, but hey, it's still around 15 plus years later. I mean, who would have thought it would last this long? Everybody thought that thing was going to fold within maybe 1 or 2 years, but here it is 15 years later, still going strong. And look at the talent that's come from TNA over the years. Most notably, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, just to name a few. I mean, but nonetheless, say what you want about him, but Jeff Jarrett's a Hall of Famer, and come April 6th, that Friday night before WrestleMania, I'm looking forward to. Well, we always look forward to everybody's induction speeches. Let's not kid ourselves. We look forward to the event as a whole. But I think out of all the speeches, the most interesting one, without question, is going to be the one from Jeff Jarrett. That's the one that's going to put the butts in the seats as the Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans, and it's going to put our eyes on whatever device we stream the WWE Network from on the screen. No doubt about it. So, on behalf of all of us here, a heartfelt congratulations to Double J Jeff Jarrett going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Well deserved. So, nothing more to say. Let's move on here. We had an in-ring segment. Asuka, interviewed by Renee Young, talking about the match coming up against Nia Jax and possibly the WrestleMania women's title match becoming a triple threat. Asuka saying she controls her own destiny, and that is to win it all at WrestleMania. And then she talked up her game about Nia Jax, but then all of a sudden Nia Jax comes in. We thought Asuka was going to get the best of her, but nope. Nia Jax squished her, like Bullock and I always say. And At the end of the day, Nia Jax is the last woman standing. I think it's safe to say, my friends, I think it's safe to say, classic case of booking 101 here. I think we can all say that. I mean, they made Nia look like a monster, took out Asuka, Samoan drop, 3 leg drops. It's logical, given, you want to make Nia look like a serious threat, and it made Jax look strong heading into the bout with the unbeaten Asuka. I mean, we could have done without Asuka bringing up a previous bout, but Nia's beatdown was simple and effective. And it was an odd little segment to try and position Jax as a legit threat to Asuka. And that's really all we can say on that. I don't know if we should classify this as a cutout or not. I mean, if you guys want to get into it, we can. Or if you just want me to move on, I can do that too. So it's up to you guys. If you want to get into it, we can. If you don't, fine with me. So, I see nobody's saying anything, so I guess we're just going to move on. And we have another cutout here. The Bar. Sheamus and Cesaro non-title match against Titus Worldwide with Dana Brooke. And Titus Worldwide wins the match in 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Worst fight of the night. This was a 1-star match. It was a nothing match, no flow, no heat, and nothing resembling a solid match. It was only made because WWE has not filled the pay-per-view card, and they were desperate to add a tag title match to the show. So I think we're looking at a tag title match between these two teams on Sunday night, no doubt about it. And also added to the card, Woken Matt Hardy against Bray Wyatt. And then our main event of the evening, it was a 6-woman tag team match featuring the 6 women inside the first ever women's elimination chamber. Bayley, Sasha Banks, Mickie James against Alexa Bliss and Absolution. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, of course. Winners of the match in about 16 minutes, it was the babyface team. Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James. It was Sasha Banks with the Banks statement on the champion, Alexa Bliss. So, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on this 6-woman tag team main event. Bayley, Sasha, and Mickie get the Duke. About 16 minutes.
All right, I can say. I mean, I thought this was a good main event. I'm gonna give it about I'll give it about 3.5. If I'm gonna be quite honest, I mean, because we all agree. I mean, the Gauntlet was definitely the fight of the night, no doubt about it. I mean, after what we saw, so nice way to build for these for the women before their historic women's elimination chamber match. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, and I mean, I know we're gonna wait till our elimination chamber preview show to, but I'm already going on the record and saying Alexa Bliss is probably gonna win that. So, but hey, I could be wrong. But we'll definitely get into it a whole lot more Saturday night. So, nothing more to say. I'm just gonna move right along to Didi Woodson. So Didi, did this 6-woman tag team match live up to your expectations or not?
That's about all I have to say about it. It was okay. It wasn't the best. I'm gonna probably go 2.5. Not the greatest in the world, but it at least was something like a teaser for pay-per-view. But that's about it. I mean, after the match was a little more exciting, because now we have 3 sets of teams kind of together here. Cause you got Banks and Bayley, and then you have the Absolution, and now apparently we have Blitz and James. teaming up. So since they took out Absolution tonight, so not too much more I had to say about it. It was an okay main event, but WWE put their cards out really early with the gauntlet, so nothing's going to compare to how the gauntlet went off. So not much more I have to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
I can only give it 2, Didi. Solid 2 for me. Okay at best match. What really hurt it was the mistakes and the overall lack of heat. Let's face it, I think we were all exhausted from that unbelievable gauntlet match. And just like Didi Woodson, Michael Cole helped tell the story that, Sasha Banks and Bayley are best of friends. Of course, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are partners, Absolution. And now perhaps the champion Alexa Bliss and Mickie James will be allies in the chamber match. Not really a great hook for the match, but I'm curious to see what they have planned. My guess is the friendships will not last long due to the quote-unquote every woman for herself angle. I am anxious to see if they will finally pull the trigger on Sasha Banks turning heel on Bayley. It's been long rumored for the last year or so. But honestly, there was nothing in this match that I caught that foreshadowed anything. So we'll see. So really all I can say on that, we were basically all spent from the gauntlet match, and I think this match was living proof of that. So I think maybe I will give it right around Didi's rating of a solid 2 to 2.5, but I'm leaning more towards the 2 myself, and I think Michael Bullock overscored it quite a bit. So with all due respect, of course. So MF, your thoughts on the 6-woman main event?
2 stars, definitely. You guys are absolutely right. But you know what, Florio? The one thing is, everything about Monday Night Raw, and you just kind of compassed it for me. All you had was the gauntlet, and that was it. Because everything else was average to mediocre. So how is that better than SmackDown Live? Now, don't get me wrong. I know SmackDown Live has been pretty bad lately, except for last week. So I can't really say anything because not yet until I see what SmackDown Live does tomorrow night. So I can't really throw any shade or hay at Monday Night Raw. But you had one really good fight, but the final hour was pretty much, even in your estimation, meh. So, how is that different than any other week with your show? We'll get into overall reviews, and I'll elaborate even further in about a couple of minutes. So, go ahead, Florio, it's yours.
Ooh, I can only imagine what you got to say about that, MF. So, overall thoughts, Didi Woodson. Let's kick it off with you. I'm sure you got to get going, so let's get your overall thoughts on this history-making win.
Yeah, I think Fletch kind of hit on the head here. Raw threw all their cards on that first 2-hour long match, and then didn't really have much of anything to fill the last hour. We were promised the 6-women divas match, and it wasn't that great. I mean, pretty much all of us said it was 2 to 2.5 stars. So I mean, it was all right for what it was worth, and then you had the other filler match with Titus Worldwide against the Bar, and that was just meh. Not we did it cut out. I mean, there wasn't much there, and mainly the rest of it was all promos and interviews, and the announcement, the Black History Month thing. I mean, it wasn't much of a show other than that 1 2-hour match. So I'll be generous. I'll give it a 7.5 because of the 2-hour match, because that was pretty entertaining. It lived up to what it was, pretty much was. And the ladies' match did kind of give you a teaser for the Elimination Chamber. But most of the rest of it, just not really even worth the time to watch unless you just want to. So, not much more I have to say about it. I know you guys may not quite agree with the rating, but so be it. Good night, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Didi. And I'll be honest, I agree with the rating. 7.5 out of 10. I mean, if it had been just that gauntlet match, it obviously would have been a perfect 10, hands down. But no. Overall, it was a memorable night. Thanks to WWE dedicating 2 hours to the gauntlet match, which did a very good job of delivering final hype for the men's Elimination Chamber match. I mean, what else is there for me to say on that? I mean, Raw was absolutely great for the first 2 hours, and then they completely mailed in the final hour. They threw the towel in, obviously. But still, it was a much better go-home show than usual. If you missed it, check out the first 2 hours with the great gauntlet match. And for all you Seth Rollins fans out there, especially Derek Ferreira, I mean, Seth Rollins was the MVP of this show tonight. Say what you want about him, but this is the night where we have to stand and applaud the effort of the Kingslayer tonight. 1 hour and 5 minutes of action, and knocked off Roman Reigns and John Cena clean. Not many guys can say that. But the efforts of all 7 men were very much appreciated. And yeah, that third hour was blech, snooze fest worthy, honestly. But that gauntlet match, that's what did it. So, and we had a surprise Hall of Fame induction. Nobody saw Jeff Jarrett going in, but he's in. So that speech is going to be very interesting come WrestleMania Friday night. So nothing more to say on that. Didi hit it right on the head. Solid 7.5 out of 10. The only thing that I know for SmackDown Live tomorrow night is what's AJ Styles going to say about having the odds stacked against him in that fatal 5-way. That's the only thing that they said it's going to go down. AJ's going to address the universe about it. So can't wait to hear what the Phenomenal One has to say. So, all right, Mr. SmackDown Live. I mean, we laid out the gauntlet for you boys tonight. What are you going to do tomorrow night? Are your general manager, are your authority figures going to whine and cry and, pitch a fit in some more?
No, because of the fact that last week, if you remember, you threw the gauntlet and we answered. And we have to really stack up over one fight because if you remember, the rest of the show was pretty lackluster. And we get 2 hours to do it, not 3. So don't worry, our time is a little compressed, but we've been able to answer the bell more than you know, Florio, on quite a few occasions. But then again, we just might mail it in because of the fact that, remember, it's that pay-per-view week for you guys. It's not for us. We still got some time to go before we get our pay-per-view in. So I don't know. We'll see what SmackDown. Let's see what SmackDown does right off the jump, and then we'll go from there and see how it goes. But you already know SmackDown Live does something better than Raw has ever done, and that's storyline progression. Except for the night, I'll openly admit that gauntlet match was genius, good idea, but the rest of it didn't even faze me one bit. That's all I'm saying. 7 out of 10. And the only reason why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 is because I'm giving it just for that gauntlet fight and that alone. The rest of it, the reason why you lost the 3 points out of it was because of that final hour was a complete and utter dud. The main event with the women could have been a lot more sharper, a lot more better. Wasn't. You had 2 throwaway fights, and then you did a predictable Nia Jax squash and Asuka, which is pretty cool because now we got to see that Asuka is not invincible or indestructible. She's actually human for once. Shocker. But as far as the rest of it goes, whatever. Your bread and butter, your moneymaker, your home run hit, and the thing that you could stick your flag with that's going to be relevant is the gauntlet fight, the 2 hours that we saw. You know, what would have made it even better if they would have done the side-by-side shot like they do on SmackDown Live. Now, if they did that, oh my God, you guys would have had even higher rating than what you got. But, you're Raw. You have to be predictable. Anyway, nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. It's a 7. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. I mean, I'm only giving it because of the gauntlet fight, but the final hour was just crap, and more crap. And that final hour was basically one you could basically flush right down the toilet. I mean that's just how bad that final hour was. I mean, if it wasn't for that, this would have been a perfect 10, but because of the final hour, I can only give it a 7 out of 10. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's time for your Tony Steak.
205 Live. The reboot continues. Triple H giving creative control. So far, so good since Enzo got the heave-ho. And we continue with 2 more matches in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. And we started it off with Akira Tozawa squaring off against Mark Andrews, a.k.a. Mandrews from TNA. And the winner of the match, 12 minutes and 41 seconds. How about this? Mark Andrews with the upset. Oh my. Akira Tozawa gone. 3.5 stars. Very good match. It started slowly, I'll grant you, but worked into a very well done back and forth bout. They had good near falls and actually had the crowd involved, which has proven to be difficult after SmackDown Live and the Mixed Match Challenge bout. But the Andrews win was another pleasant surprise, similar to the Roderick Strong win the week before, and again, freshens things up. A lot of fun. And then the other matchup, Drew Gulak squaring off against Tony Nese. Winner of the match in 16 minutes and 17 seconds via a referee stoppage, Drew Gulak. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Very good match. Worked in a completely different style and tone of the previous bout. I love the new aggressive Gulak, almost pulling a Mr. Bob Backlund snap routine, if you will, to really pull off his new character that he's working. Nese was also a really great babyface here, looking great, and the booking and his performance here was the best he's looked so far. And the performance here will likely do more for him than anything else they've done with him in the company so far. This was so very good. And next week, our final 2 first-round matches in the tournament. Gentleman Jack Gallagher will square off against Mustafa Ali. And then Arya Daivari, he's going to square off against Buddy Murphy from NXT. That ought to be interesting. So 7 3/4 to 8 out of 10. The rebooted 205 Live delivers again, giving us a focused show, announcing the final 2 first round tournament matches. And they also gave us 2 very good and different matches. 205 Live has really developed into must-see TV in a short amount of time. Another very good show. All I can say is I'm very confident about the next one. So that Gallagher and Ali fight should be an amazing match. Not sure about the other one with Murphy and Daivari, but with the way these matches have gone so far, I got a good feeling. So nothing more to say there. 7 3/4 to 8 out of 10. And now Impact Wrestling from last week. We kick things off with Sami Callihan squaring off against Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley wins by disqualification in 14 minutes and 25 seconds. 2 3/4 star match. I mean, it was a pretty good match, which was hurt by the interference and the flat finish. But I do appreciate them starting with the match once again, like I always do, especially what we saw tonight on Raw. Oh my gosh. But I think it's going to lead to OVE against Eddie Edwards and Bobby Lashley. I mean, because Eddie Edwards came in and all hell broke loose and OVE and all that. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So 2 3/4 stars for that bout. Then we had Hania the Huntress against Rosemary. Rosemary wins in 4 minutes. 2 stars. I mean, it was an okay match. I mean, it started off decently hot, but it quickly faded. Pania's not good at all when she's in control. I mean, also, Rosemary missing charges and running into the corner repeatedly was really a lazy layout. The right woman won, though, which is nice. So, because we all know how tragically underbooked and underutilized Rosemary has been for the longest time. EC3 and the returning Tyrus, Brodus Clay, went up against Matt Sydal and Johnny Impact. And EC3 and Tyrus pick up the win in 8 minutes and 28 seconds. 2.5-star match, solid, with the reunited EC3 and Tyrus picking up the win with some heel shenanigans. An old friend of MF's from Lucha Underground, MF, they simply call him Cage. And he squashed some Hammerneger by the name of John Cruz in 1 minute and 10 seconds. It was a squash and exactly what it needed to be. So if you haven't seen this Cage, MF could tell you stories on days about how dominant he was in Lucha Underground. I mean, brother's scary. I call him basically Lucha Underground's version of Braun Strowman. I mean, that guy's a freak. I've seen him. He's a freak. X Division title on the line. Taiji Ishimori against El Dio. It was Phantasma. We'll just call him Phantasma. Winner and still champion at 13 minutes and 1 second. Ishimori retains the title. 3.25 stars. A good, fun back and forth match. They worked well together, but Phantasma came up short as Ishimori's title run continues. And then the main event, return match for the Impact Global Championship. Austin Aries defending against Eli Drake. Winner of the match in 16 minutes and 28 seconds. And still the global champion, Austin Aries, with the Brainbuster, of course. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. Very good main event. Drake getting a lot in, and Aries overcoming the odds to retain. Drake looked good and had a chance, but Aries retained and is off to a good start as the champ. So with all that being said, 6 3/4 to 7 out of 10. It was a nice improvement from the previous week's show. It was a very good show. They also did a nice job of setting up matches for next week, which will play well off of the past 2 weeks. So here's your rundown for this week. We're going to see Cage in another squash match. Bobby Lashley and Eddie Edwards against OVE. A match that's going to air from Destiny Wrestling in Ontario, Canada. Matt Sydal against Petey Williams. Oh, that's going to be good. Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley against the LAX non-title match. From FSW in Las Vegas, Alberto El Patron against Moose. An in-ring segment with Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong. Keep an eye out for Joseph Park and Chandler Park and all that nonsense. And then the main event, Johnny Impact against EC3. Now that's going to be some good stuff right there. So yep, that all goes down Thursday night, 8 Eastern, Pop Television. Check your local listings for the time and channel in your area. So that's it. Ridiculously Raw in the books for this week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. And before we wrap up, we're going to bring in MF as he will set the table for tomorrow night's edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. So MF, what's on tap for tomorrow night?
Well, tomorrow night we got the SmackDown Live as usual, and we're going to recap all the action from SmackDown Live. And right now, that's really it. I don't have any other news bits on the Mikey's Mindset. I'm just going to have to keep a close eye. If something does pop up, I might add it onto the show. But as of right now, we only got is SmackDown Live, and that's really it, Anthony. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, Braves Fan 95. Anthony, send it home.
All right, so that'll be immediately following SmackDown Live tomorrow night over on MF channel, Braves Fan 95, 10 Eastern. And before we wrap it up, of course, MF mentioned that. We also have the docket for this week's Strictly Sports, and it is as follows. We're going to recap NBA All-Star Weekend, All-Star Saturday night. We'll also talk about the All-Star Game. And we're going to have an interesting debate here. Should the NBA change the playoff format? We'll get into that. Eric Hosmer signing with the San Diego Padres. JD Martinez signing with the Boston Red Sox. And we'll close it out with our newest installment of the NHL Power Rankings. So that all goes down Friday night. And then sometime Saturday, we don't have a time yet, but we'll work out the details. Sometime Saturday, we will have our Elimination Chamber preview show, and then, of course, Sunday night, immediately following the pay-per-view, we'll review the Elimination Chamber, and then next week, Ridiculously Raw, of course. So that's it. So until tomorrow night, over on the Mesh channel for the Cerebral Smack Talk, immediately following SmackDown Live, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyo here, for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Whitson and Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, sort of Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo. So long.